contract, why do you feel that mlidhulumiwa because of your rights of land, because of your interest in land, na mnataka nini? Informed consent, musain, it's not enough. It is your contract. Control over the process, no. It is your contract. So you are supposed to have this mediation ili sasa muamue vile mnataka kusettle hiyo settlement, and then the court will affirm it or refuse it. But now if you have another parallel process of fast-tracking this settlement where you are not involved, as I talk to you now, the file of doing the matter you talked about, Turkana, wind power, okay? It is going through a process where I hope the community will be involved because they are the ones who took the case to court. But we tend to protect the investor more than ourselves. So those are the 3 points I wanted to emphasize. And the contract, which, another thing which you need to know, and this is new jurisprudence coming out of our court. I mentioned it yesterday. And it is actually legislated in Europe. Just because an investor is coming to do an investment doesn't mean that it has benefits to you. Just because somebody is acquiring and using your land doesn't mean that just because you'll get some manual jobs, umefaidika. There's somebody in the panel who made a very good point about it. No, it doesn't mean that. So what does this mean? It means what you want to do with your community land, what you want to do with the interest you have in that land which is yours, should be you to determine and should benefit you. It should not be assumed that it will benefit you. And that benefit or the losing of those rights should be proportionate to the interference to your rights. It should be necessary. And there's a big question around that. And it is already established that it has to be necessary. For example, if you have a university here and somebody acquires land in the next door, the land tribunal has already denied the Mamagena University being set up for those reasons, because it was not necessary. The same reason, did we need the Turkana wind power where excess generation of that electricity means you have to pay 18 billion to the owners of that company, and then Kenya Power will have to meet the bill, and then we are the ones to pay for that bill when we already had cheap geothermal given by God in our country. Was it necessary? So those are the questions to ask yourselves when we are entering into those contracts. Any other details? Na kile nilieleza jana, there was a lot of interest around it. Sylvia, are you here? Sylvia? Sylvia is from your county, and she's namaliza. We are going to put it online. We are going to have a journal where we have these discussions, and then you can read it from there. The other thing is you will need, and somebody talked about it, we will need to come up with a manual, not a manual actually, a framework for the different roles of all these actors, okay, for you, the community. So you'll have to be in the center of that discussion. I've started that discussion already with Clock, and others will be involved, and I hope Nedesa will be involved. And
Thank you so much, Makofi, for our leaders. We have run out of time so much, so there will be no questions. But these are our leaders. They are here with us. If you have a question, you can approach them during lunch and talk to them. With that, I close our session and I invite all of you over to lunch. When we come back, we shall only have one session. That sounds good? Lunch for 1 hour, turudi for one session, na tumalizie hapo. Asanteni sana.